And now, boom. So what just happened? Now, where are we now? 1798. What happened? Right? We were over here, and now Wordsworth does what? Comes back to the present. So what's happened here is that the poet has become unlocked, right? He's freely traveling within memory, sublimity, transcendence, and the trigger to it all, nature. The picture of the mind revives again. While here I stand, not only with the sense of what pleasure? Present pleasure, but with pleasing thoughts that in this moment there is life and food for future years. Wow. So what does Wordsworth know? Here he is in the present, right? He knows that looking out on this beautiful scene will carry him, right, into the future. So now we've got to, right? So he knows that in the future, what's going to happen is that he's going to look back onto this moment, and it's going to provide him nourishment, right? Help him out, just like when he was here before and then he was stuck in the city, right? That same elements reached out and gave him life and food. So what happens is that Wordsworth is fully aware. He's cognizant of what's going on, right? So this is where it's really cool. Wordsworth is not just carried away in the flood of transcendence and sublimity. He is aware of it. He is able to, to think about it. He's able to drive the bus and get to where he needs to be. And so I dare to hope, though changed, right? Though changed. Now listen to this. We're going to talk about innocence and experience, childhood and adulthood. No doubt from what I was when first I came among these hills, when like a roe I bounded o'er the mountains by the sides of the deep rivers and the lonely streams, right? So now what are we seeing? We're seeing childhood, adulthood, innocence, experience, right? So all of this is tied up in here too. He's able to look back and realize, right, when I was with nature before, what was it like? He was out there running and just experiencing everything. For nature then, line 75, the coarser pleasures of my boyish days and all their animal movements all gone by, to me was all in all. Nature to him then was everything, right? When he was with his child when he was young. Why? Innocence. What happens as we age, right? We reach adulthood, we pick up experience. And what happens to this, right? This starts to fade away, starts to go. I cannot paint what then I was. That's so true. Once that is lost, all that you're left with is consolation. And what? Memory, right? Seeing all of these components here. The sounding cataract haunted me like a passion. The tall rock, the mountain, and the deep and gloomy wood, their colors and their forms were then to me an appetite, a hunger, a feeling, and what? A love that had no need of a remoter charm, by thought supplied, nor any interest unborrowed from the eye. That time is past. Recognition, right? and all its aching joys are now no more, and all its dizzy raptures. Not for this faint eye. Ooh, did y'all hear that? I'm not crying a river about this. I'm not, oh, it's gone. No. Other gifts have followed. So now what are we seeing? Right? We're seeing loss. But out of this loss, what do we get? Consolations. This is what Wordsworth refers to as gifts. For I have learned to look on nature not as in the hour of thoughtless youth, right? But hearing oftentimes the still, sad music of humanity, nor harsh nor grating, though of ample power to chasten and subdue. And I have felt a presence that disturbs me with the joy of elevated thoughts, a sense sublime of something far more deeply interfused, whose dwelling is in the light of setting suns and the round ocean and the living air and the blue sky and in the mind of man. This is a transcendental, right? Transcendence. He's become aware of this. And he refers to this as a presence, right? This would be like when you're watching a scary movie and you know that you're about to get a jump scare. There's something, there's a presence that Wordsworth has become aware of, right? Where is it? It's every place. Setting suns, ocean, air, sky, mind of man. Emotion and a spirit that impels all thinking things, all objects of all thoughts, and rolls through all things. So what has he become aware of? Right? Divinity, where is it to be found? Nature. Nature becomes a catalyst for sublimity and transcendence. Are y'all feeling this? This is amazing, this realization. Therefore am I still a lover of the meadows and the woods and mountains, of all that we behold from this green earth, of all the mighty world of eye and ear, both what they have create and what perceive. Wordsworth is fully aware of this idea of subjectivity, of perception through the self, creating a solipsism, right? He's fully aware of this, and he's sharing it with us. This is like a vision. This is like a visionary solipsism. Well pleased to recognize in nature and the language of the sense the anchor of my purest thoughts, the nurse, the guide, the guardian of my heart and soul, and of all my moral being. Look what nature has become. What is it for this man? Anchor. What does an anchor do? It keeps you in place, right? If you're on a boat and there's a storm coming up, you put out the anchor so you're not carried along by the wind and the waves. It's the nurse when you're sick. What does a nurse do? It heals you. It's a guide. It's a guardian of my heart and soul, of all my moral being. So what has nature, right? Everything that we're seeing here, what has it become for Wordsworth? It's become like the Godhead. It's become divinity. When he goes out into the woods, this is like what happens for people when they go to church. Wow. And here's what's cool. Wordsworth is fully aware of all this. Wow. And put this into perspective, right? Wordsworth wrote this poem when he was on the walking tour. And then when he reached his destination, what did he do? He sat down, put pen to paper, boom, and it came out. And then there it was. Wow, but we're not done yet. We still have more to go in Tintern Abbey.